The following comments and opinions are those of the host and not necessarily of the Motor Racing Network. Parental guidance is advised.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Sunday Money. It's me, Lauren Fox, and I'm here with my friends, Daryl Motte and Corey LaJoie.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
What's going on?
Well, watching you coddle your baby.
Coddle my baby.
She's getting bigger every day. I think that's what they're supposed to do, right?
Yep, I think so.
What are you doing, Daryl?
I was just wondering, when she's 16, what kind of tires Lauren is going to put on her car.
Definitely Hercules tires. And, guys, did you know that you can win a free set of tires? It's crazy. I feel like I've never heard this before.
But I feel like by the time she's 16, that we're probably all going to be riding around in hovercrafts.
Yeah, she'll fly to work.
Flying cars. Maybe Hercules tires will have a flying car because you'll have to land.
Right.
True. Like their landing gear. Their landing gear is going to have Hercules tires on it.
Right.
Well, if you go to HerculesTire.com/MRN, you could be entered to win a free set of tires, and that's what we're talking about. And you know what else? I want to get an interview with one of the winners. I think we need to make an arrangement so we can congratulate somebody on their success. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here we are.
Who didn't have good tires this weekend? What happened? What happened out there, buddy?
I don't know, man. It's my rental car had good tires on it because I drove to Dover on Wednesday because we were announcing a new sponsor. Dryden, it's an oil company. They're actually sponsoring the Dover race, the Dover 400 here at, the Dryden 400 at Dover here in 2 weeks. And they're also going to be on my car. So that's going to be cool.
What's Dryden?
Dryden, it's like an oil company.
Oil.
Lubricant Earl company. They make grease and lube.
Oh, my favorite things.
Yeah,
and
so
lube.
The car looks really neat, and hopefully it runs as good as it looks.
It did look really good.
Yeah.
It was a nice-looking car.
Yep, so we did this big press conference up there Thursday.
You had to drive?
I did have to drive. I don't really know why.
That's not close.
I think I got voluntold to drive to Dover. It was 8 hours from my house to Dover Downs Casino. I got pulled over, and I drove 7 hours and 55 minutes and got pulled over with 5 minutes left to go in my drive.
Did you tell them? I know a lot of race car drivers that are famous.
Yeah, that didn't get me very far. Yeah, that guy was not having it, so he wrote me a ticket for 37 and a 25. I thought it was 35, but
That's
so
what
yeah,
they all say.
Man, that's like the first ticket actually I've got in a long time. When's the last ticket you got, Daryl?
Well, this morning.
I actually haven't told Kelly yet, so she's going to hear on the podcast, and then she's going to text me.
Does she listen to all these? Kayla has stopped listening to the podcast, guys.
No, Kelly listens to them all.
She said, I haven't listened. I'm like,
thanks for the support.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla.
Thanks, Kayla. We need all the numbers. We only have 13 listeners.
Well, 12 now.
Yeah.
Lost one.
Jeez.
She said, no, I haven't listened. I'll have to catch up. I'm busy.
When was the last ticket you got, Daryl?
Probably this morning. I went through one of those red lights.
This morning.
You know the red light cams?
Yeah.
Do they always take a picture, or do they just put the cameras up there and sometimes they're on, sometimes they're not on?
I don't know how that works, to be honest with you. You probably got a ticket.
I went through a red light.
I don't think they do those anymore in Charlotte. I think they have them up there, but I'm not sure they actually give you. I don't think they send you a ticket.
Because apparently there's a law that you have the right to face your accuser, right? That's like one of our rights.
Your accuser.
Right. So you can't face your traffic cam. So I think a lot of those were getting thrown out by crafty lawyers. Because you could just say, well, my accuser's not here. Because, that's why the officers always have to show up in court.
Oh, true.
And, we don't have robots that can show up and be like, I snapped a picture of you trying to get there to the podcast.
Interesting.
How about you, Lauren?
Now, the last time that I got a ticket, I had said the night before, wow, I can't believe I haven't gotten a ticket. So I feel like I'm really jinxing myself, but I haven't gotten a ticket probably in 9 years maybe.
Oh, wow.
I got one whenever I was 16 for going 61 or 62 and a 45.
Damn.
That one was bad. That was my first
Getting
ticket. I cried. My neighbors saw me. They drove past. They saw me. That one was bad. But my other one was for going left of center.
Okay.
So it wasn't a speeding ticket, but I was going to pick my sister up from school, and that it was in like the school zone or whatever, and it was the school resource officer that wrote me the ticket. So I was, like whatever, 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, and I got on Facebook because that was a thing to do, and I put something like Officer Douchebag wrote me a ticket. Well, Officer Douchebag must have looked me up on Facebook.
Oh, no.
And he
liked it?
He went to my sister the next day and said, Addison, tell your sister that it's not very nice to call people a douchebag.
Well,
so
it's been it's been 4 years.
It's been a hot minute.
I got one in
you're a pretty
South
good driver.
Carolina actually last year, but I got it tossed out.
So then after that, we did the Dryden announcement at Dover. Then we drove, myself and my manager, Bray. We drove over to Richmond. I drove. He slept the entire time.
Wow.
Drove to Richmond. That was 5 hours on the nose, right from Dover Downs Casino to Richmond Raceway.
Glamorous.
It was a lot of windshield time getting warmed up for the weekend. Then raced, and then I drove back by myself. He got a ride back. He helped me out to drive. So after the race, I drove 4 hours back by my lonesome.
That night?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's
late.
The luxuries of being a race car driver. I'll tell you what, it's really good stuff.
What do you listen to pass the time there?
I don't know, just whatever's on the radio because it was a cheap minivan, so I didn't get to plug my USB into my phone.
Oh.
So I was really roughing it. I couldn't plug my phone in and tune on any podcast or anything. I literally had to listen to static for probably half the ride. So that was a lot of fun. And then there wasn't a whole lot that happened, honestly, in the Cup race. We were literally 28th in both practices. We qualified 29th, and we finished 29th. That's about how our weekend went. We actually drove to the front. We dropped the green, and for whatever reason, we were really good with our keen parts Ford Mustang. And I was behind Joey. He was actually holding me up. I was about to ship him, and then he found another gear, and then he drove away like he should have. But we got talked about for about 2 whole laps on the broadcast, which never happens.
Yeah, people were excited for you.
Yeah.
What'd they say?
And they were just talking about how we were ahead of 2 front row cars, which their budgets are probably 3 times as much as ours. And then at that point in time of the race, I was right behind Joey and right in front of Will Byron. And collectively, those 2 guys' budgets are probably $80 million together. Our budget's about 3.5. So that was interesting. Then we come in and we put tires on, and we proceeded to get worse and worse. I don't know what happened. We just couldn't keep up with the track, or something happened in the car. I don't really know. It's happened before where a chassis is cracked and the car just goes to complete poop. So I don't know. The guys are going to go through the car today here at the shop and see if they can find anything. Or maybe I just got tired and fell out of the seat. That's a possibility as well.
Do you get quiet when you're having a bad race, or are
Yes.
you mouthy?
Yes, I get. Or
do you get grumpy you were on the podcast last week?
I get grumpy. I got a lot of I got a lot of compliments for being grumpy on the podcast last week. People like grumpy Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I don't really like
My
grumpy
mother-in-law's worried about you.
Thanks.
She listened.
I'm good now, though. I'm over it because people were actually saying nice things this week on Twitter. Yeah, I was grumpy. Pepper missed the call. I actually pinched the 21 car into the fence out of 4 because I didn't know he was outside.
Pepper.
And I gave him some sharp words. I apologized for it afterwards. And then there was about 40 to go, and he was just giving me all this information when we're already trapped 5 laps down and the day is already buried and done with. And he was giving me all this information. I said, Pepper, just tell me when this damn race is over. That's the only thing I want to hear from you for the last 40 laps.
Aww.
He said 10-4. So that was the end of our day. We finished 30th. Then Eric Jones got kicked out. He wasn't cheating, but he failed inspection. Should we get into that, why he failed inspection, or no? It was just rear skew stuff.
Just measurements stuff.
So is that something that actually matters, or is it just a silly rule that...
No, it matters. I mean,
Does it give him an advantage?
The more skew you can have, the better it is, but he only failed by a couple thousandths of an inch. So
Yeah.
I don't think he had anything different than his teammates. It's just the way that thing settles throughout the course of the race. They give you a tolerance after the race, though. It's not like pre-race tolerance is very tight. Post-race tolerance, they give you plus or minus, I think, 40 thousandths, which is a lot in that particular measurement, and it just didn't make it. It was, even if it was 1,000ths over, it's too much. So they tossed him. But for the fact that JGR was 1 through 4,
I just think it's inconsistent, though, because then if that's the case, you can get tossed for that, then everybody should have to go through it then.
Well, they rolled all the playoff cars through it. So
everybody.
Yeah, they rolled through all 16.
No, they should roll everybody.
Why?
Well, let's disqualify
because
all kinds of people.
We don't matter. Anybody else outside of the playoffs are just there so we don't get fined.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you got points. I mean, you got another spot.
I did get another spot.
So how great would that be if 5 cars got disqualified for you?
Yeah, but then that's kind of bogus.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I've got a question. I actually get asked this quite a bit from people that are just now learning the sport. How do these big race teams get better with new cars as the season goes on? Because you would think you know as much about this car at the beginning. Is it the simulation? Is it just so much simulation that your setups get better and better? How do you build a better car when you think you've already built a big car? How's that work?
Well, now we're getting technical, Tony. So throughout the course of the year, you learn what packages work, whether trim levels, and they go to the wind tunnel probably twice a week at least. So you're learning and you're gaining downforce, you're gaining side force. So the more downforce you can build in your cars, the more trimmed out you can make it. So then your downforce to drag efficiency is better. So those guys are making more downforce and they're making less drag at this point in the year than they were at Atlanta, the first mile and a half race of the year. So they're just working on making stuff low, light, and left, just like makes every other race car in this world go fast. And horsepower's big. They're the only 5 cars in the field, being the 4 Gibbs cars and the 95 car, that looks like it's spraying for mosquitoes, like they're smoking the entire garage out when they're warming their cars up till the rings get hot and the motor gets up to temp. So they're obviously doing some stuff there. Not with additives and stuff, but they're just making horsepower right now compared to everybody else. So I think that's the biggest gain, because the old saying, there's no replacement for displacement, especially when you have 550 horsepower. When you can find another 3 or 4, that's going to be noticeable. So that's where they're at. And then obviously it shows Gibbs ran 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's crazy to do anymore. I don't know if you think so, Daryl, because no accolades carry any weight to you in the sport anymore, because Junior Johnson's not racing. But
Junior Johnson.
You don't have any comment to
Didn't
that?
Stuart Haas just do that last year?
It's Talladega, but it's different.
But you said I don't remember when any. Never mind.
No, I said that doesn't carry any weight to you.
No, I mean, it's, I don't know what to say. If I say I agree with you, then this is pretty boring. If I disagree with you, then I get all these gearheads on Reddit. I hear you fuckers, by the way, that are like,
man, I need to get on Reddit more.
Oh, no, you don't.
If they agree with me, I need to get on there.
They all agree with you.
Good.
And they're like, yeah, it would be, Corey knows everything, then, and then there's that other guy. And then they're like, and Lauren's nice.
But here's the thing.
Because no one wants to say anything bad about a beautiful mother with her baby.
I don't want to cut you off, Daryl, but I like the fact that you and I disagree on a lot of things, because you are in the sport.
Yeah,
but you have more of a fan perspective. I mean this as a compliment.
Hold on, let me open my LaCroix. Go ahead.
That was a White Claw, actually. What was I saying? You have more of a fan perspective, because you don't really dig in to the competitive side as much as I do, because I live it.
I'm not an engineer, if that's what you mean.
No, but you live more because you're out in the fan zone. You talk to the fans. You know what they're kind of gauged and what kind of information they get.
Yeah.
I can gauge the garage, so I actually like to get, and I like that banter between us.
Oh, thank you. Hear that, Reddit?
It's really
Hear that?
Special.
We're
special.
a good team.
It's special.
No, I think people just think I'm trying to purposely annoy you. Nicole, by the way,
Well,
Nicole that works here was like, why you always have to give Corey a hard time? I'm like, because you know how boring it would be to sit here for an hour with Corey and go, yeah, I'm not Kelly. I'm not Kelly, okay? I'm not going to agree with everything you do.
She does not. She does not at all. And
I'm just kidding.
I think sometimes you do purposely disagree.
Of course.
I think he does too.
Of course. So to answer your question,
Daryl plays a character. Everyone.
I think
hey guys. To answer your question, running 1, 2, 3, and 4 with a budget of $100 million, not that exciting to me. But good for them.
It's probably a little more than that. But who's counting? Probably the most exciting thing that happened in the race was Ricky Stenhouse just wrecking the leader.
If Danica's having the best week ever in Green Bay, hanging out, eating all that fondue in the box, watching her man-to-be, Ricky's
slinging
having the
touchdowns.
worst week ever.
Slinging touchdowns. Meanwhile, she watches the race on Saturday night, and Ricky Stenhouse is running 22nd and just straight up dumps the leader. She's probably like, all right, I'm going to head out.
Do you think she still watches the races?
Yeah,
No
yes,
way.
Yes,
you think she does?
Yeah.
Can you see Erin
She probably
being
doesn't
like,
watch TV anymore. She's like living a very natural life.
she's like over there in
Doing
Napa.
yoga.
And then somebody after 4 glasses of Chardonnay says, tell us again how you used to date a race car driver. Tell us that story about the race car driver.
Well, we did have a nice fridge. No, what was it? The stove? Yeah.
The stove.
I had a $120,000
I'm gonna stick up for Ricky Stenhouse here, because this is what happened in that instant. Ricky Stenhouse pitted, so he's on new tires. He came right out of the pits, and he has low air pressure. I don't really want to get into when you just pit, the tires have low air pressure, and they take 3 or 4 laps to build. So the first couple laps, the car is set up super low, and especially when it has low air pressure, you get on the splitter, which is on the front of the car, right?
You just said you're not going to get into this.
Well, I can get into the air pressure stuff, but I'm going to dumb it down a little bit for you, Daryl.
Thank you.
So
Air pressure high, good?
air pressure high because is good. Air pressure about lap 7 is ideal.
Low
Right
pressure,
after
bad.
Low pressure is bad because you get on the splitter. But you have to set the air pressure low after a pit stop because you don't want it to gain super high. That's just what heat does. It makes the air grow.
It expands.
Yeah. Oh,
Heat
like
expands.
Wow.
I remember in science class right now.
Yeah.
So now Ricky zooms out of pits.
Grabs 4th gear and drives into. So now he's on a mission to make up a complete lap to the leader, right? So he doesn't need any caution to fly. He just needs to take advantage of his new tires versus everybody's old tires, and he needs to pass Martin Truex and then come an entire lap around, which he did in the first segment, and pass him again to be pretty much a net even from where he was. He comes out and just so happened, I don't know if it was the first or second lap, he was on stickers there after he came out of the pits. He drives into 3 underneath the 19, and he gets on the splitter. And then he tried to get on the brakes even more to try to obviously stay off the leader and not wreck him because that's the last thing he needs in that point in time for his strategy. And the more he hit the brakes, the more he got on the splitter and locked the right front tire up and just drove straight into him. And that ultimately killed Stenhouse's night because then it buried him lap down and he wasn't able to utilize what they were doing there. So I want to stick up for Ricky in that instance, but I think that he obviously would have probably backed up that corner a little bit more, knowing now what he just knowing now he did. And I'm sure he caught a lot of stuff on social media about that because he just he hasn't done himself a lot of favors lately.
Nope.
No.
With in the old car department.
I was going to ask you, because it's the week after the Kyle Busch meltdown.
Yeah.
And the Corey meltdown, coincidentally. Of course, all the media runs right over to Kyle and says they want follow-ups. They want to squeak just a little more blood out of that stone. They're just like, let me ask him one more time. And so basically everybody was running over there saying like, well, now how do you feel about it? Now that you've calmed down, how do you feel about it? Did you, what was the talk amongst them? Because Kyle's quote basically was, I got a lot of text messages and from other drivers that agree with me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I didn't talk to Kyle. And it's probably all the drivers that are sitting in their private jets and their new buses that text them, yeah, those guys shouldn't be out here. It should just be us 10 drivers that are making $8 million, and we're just going to have a little gentleman's race and let everybody go, and whoever has the fastest car, we're going to win. If I were to imagine, those are probably the guys who texted Kyle Busch. The other 20 in the field that probably don't agree with him probably didn't text him that. So then there's that.
That was pretty funny, though.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, and I'm sure he's still going to get questions asked about that for the rest of the year because he kind of brought that upon himself. But
he said, doesn't matter what I say anyway, I get hammered for it no matter what.
Either way. Well, he's a polarizing guy, right? There's going to be some people on one side of the fence, some people on the other.
I wonder if he kind of changed his tone a little bit after he, maybe sit down and actually watched it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I gathered from, it doesn't matter what I say, and he was almost like he wanted to be like, well,
like brush it off.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have.
But those words will never come out of Kyle Busch's mouth.
Of course not.
Is there anything?
Gosh. Ryan Newman. I would like to say hats off to Ryan Newman.
He was wheeling that son.
That guy is he's the great I don't know. We need a good name for him.
Like a comeback.
He still has it. He's still got it.
He's the Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Let him keep his name.
Do you think Kenseth is sitting somewhere going, well, damn, I didn't know that car was going to be running like that?
He's sitting on his mountain bike, riding about 40 miles a day. He's chilling. He's good. He don't care. He's probably got about $50 million in the bank.
Has anyone heard from Carl Edwards lately? Is he still alive?
He's on a sailboat somewhere. Last I heard, he's sailing on the ocean.
Or he's
with his shirt
seeds
off.
With pants with no zippers in them because
that's what everyone
NASCAR chasm. He thinks he's like an Amish guy now
with suspenders on.
Yeah.
They said he was going to go be a farmer, right? That's what everybody said.
Oh,
and then one day I finally decided to like really dig into it and ask people that knew him, like for real, where'd he end up?
Yeah.
They said he bought like a big sailboat and he's just like sailing around in the ocean.
Sweet.
By him, like he's just out there sailing.
That's sweet.
He's like a pirate.
Good for him.
And then I guess we'll take a break, but
there's some Dale Jr. throwing shade. That's what I wanted to get into after this break.
Oh, all right, some Dale Jr. shade?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, because Alex Bowman had quite a quote about
Ooh. Oh, yeah,
Austin
he
Dillon.
did. Yeah, we're going to get into that after the break.
We'll take a break. Be right back.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away one set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey. See, I still like that music better for the opening, I'll be honest with you. But
this gets me
it's good. Yeah,
You like this
I do
one?
like this one. This is Give Me Some Lovin', Spencer Davis Band.
Lauren, do people know you're on a podcast? Like, do you have a mommy friends yet? Do you have like a mommy group? Do people?
No.
Are you like, I got to go to my show?
Yeah, I have to go to my podcast.
How are you?
Thank you.
No, nobody cares.
Guys, I watched the end of Racing Wives. I know you don't want to talk about it, but oh my God, my head hurts still. I've had a migraine for like 3 days.
Kelly and I
straight.
just sat there on the couch yesterday catching up on it with our what's the word? I don't know.
My question
Not
is,
flabbergasted.
speechless.
Just,
no, we don't have to get into it because I know you want to talk about it, but do we think it'll come back, or is that it?
Hell no.
Nope. One thing I wanted to say, it's just funny how every single person on that show started some sort of business on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Whit Merrill started their jewelry company, right? Paul Swan started this T-shirt line company called Underrated, and then Ashley Bush she started her her swimsuits, and then Samantha
I'm just
Bush.
wondering who can wear those swimsuits, okay?
Miss Bush,
Wow.
Ashley Bush. Can wear
Oh,
that.
my God. Boy, does that make you feel bad
I
about
think you should-
yourself after
I
having
think
a
you
baby.
should buy one of those $480
a mesh
swimsuits.
swimsuit. I'm like, do you know how much you would really have to get up in your business with a mirror to make sure that you shaved correctly? That's all I'm saying. All you got is some butterflies covering your lady bits. Go Google it, people.
My
Google it.
God.
Monarch
Anyways.
I
brain.
can't even breathe.
All right.
Oy. Anyways.
No, wait. I'm sorry. I know we were going to talk about it, but this whole season's leading up to this race car driver. You're a race car driver. Brittany.
Oh,
You gotta
yeah, I
have
forgot about
her
her.
the whole thing. I just got to show them what I got. She makes it 19 laps. 19 laps.
Bless her.
I was there that night. The TV show made it look a little bit better than it was. It was tough to watch. I think she was the last car to make it in on time.
Yep.
In a Kyle Busch car. So I think she qualified 26, like they said on the show, out of like 34. So those 8 guys went to the house, and those 8 guys that went to the house should probably have been in the 4-cylinder race. So good thing she beat those guys. And then she did have valve stem go down, stuff in the fence. So that's about $30,000 down the drain for that guy who sponsored her. And then she raced a couple more times for the Kyle Busch for the super late model program, and she ran about the same. I just think that was for. I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole, but there was they put so much pressure on her, Samantha. Like right before she puts the window net up, she goes and leans down and says in the window, "This is your one shot to prove to everybody that you're able to be here."
It's like 8 Mile.
It's like. Dun, 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 dun.
But do you think that was real, or do you think that was just scripted? Come on.
It certainly was scripted, but that's the last thing that Amber needed to hear. Like she really needed to hear, "Hey, just go out there and have fun." That's what she needs to hear. But instead, she's white knuckling, thinking that this is like the one race of her entire life. Like she was born for this moment, and it ends in the fence. So I think that obviously that would make her pretty upset, and I just don't think it portrayed her probably in a good light, and probably didn't set her up for a future in the sport like she would hope. But
it totally.
I heard they were thinking about a spin-off series, but then decided she spins enough on her own.
But
hey now.
But it reminded me of watching.
That was good. How long did it take you to think of that one?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It reminded me of watching like little kids play sports though. Like when she got out of the car, they were like, "Good try.
Yeah.
You tried really hard today. Good try." And I was like, "That's not really how racing works."
No, that's not how racing works, especially within KBM. Obviously, KBM is ruthless. But I wanted to get to Dale Jr. So it all started with Alex Bowman making it 3 wide bottom on a restart, which is totally typical and normal for Richmond. You can kind of lag back and get a run on somebody down the front stretch, and then you can just jam it in the bottom, and then that's all ultimately 2 spots, right? Because if you can time it right, you can roll the bottom, and you can get them 2 guys. So Alex Bowman probably running somewhere around 15th to 18th.
Yeah,
Austin Dillon was in front of him, and he jammed it in there in the bottom and got around him. He kind of nerfed them a little bit, but hey, it's short track racing, Rubbin's racing, right? And then so Austin kind of gets pointed straight and drives down into 3 and just spins him right out.
Yeah.
Didn't rub him, didn't nudge him.
Dumped him.
And dumping, son, is not racing. So Dale Jr., which I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until I kind of read the caption. So Dale Jr. posted a picture of the side of the 3 car, right? So he found a picture of the 3 car with donuts down the side, which means that Earnhardt was rubbing the same way that Alex Bowman did, stuck it on the inside of somebody.
Literally
and
tire marks all over the 3.
Tire marks down the side, and the caption was, "Nobody turned around and dumped him the next corner." So then, that's shaded, right? Because that's pointing at the 3 car, for who somebody may or may not be driving it now, goes and dumps somebody for the same thing that his old man used to do all the time. So, but during the race, what did Alex Bowman say on the radio?
This is a direct quote from Alex Bowman. I wish they would read these in the media center like that. There's a direct quote from Alex Bowman. "I'm going to shove that silver spoon he's been fed off all his life up his ass."
Yikes. Yikes.
Woo!
Yikes. Now,
it's pretty great.
Now, this isn't the first instance where Austin has been called a silver spoon kid.
That's pretty funny, though.
Pacifier just hit my phone.
We just lost a passy.
Hold my watch.
It's okay. It landed face up.
Now, some fans are saying that, Bowman dive bombed him.
Hang on. So I wanted the first time Austin Dillon was called a silver spoon kid was by Kevin Harvick when they were teammates in RCR in a truck race. So that probably didn't bode well, and then Kevin Harvick left soon thereafter. So that was interesting that comment came up again. And I wonder why that I mean, I get why people go straight to that comment, but
yeah.
There's some other people, but that was right to the groin there. There was no remorse in that.
That's pretty great, though.
I like it.
Yeah, this is Lauren likes this stuff.
More of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And apparently his spotter, Austin's spotter, told him to do it.
Andy Houston.
Yeah, did you hear that radio chatter?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
but it's all going to come out on Radioactive.
Radioactive.
Tomorrow night, I think, comes out on Tuesday nights on Race Hub. So tune into that.
I'm trying to see if we missed anything else. But
he'll be the radio sweetheart this week. Alex Bowman will.
For sure.
I wonder what anybody else said. But Martin Truex Jr. was actually nice to me this week. He gave me a couple, thanks, man, 2 fingers at the window when he was lapping me for the 3rd time. Obviously, I was out of his way plenty enough where he thought enough to give me the thanks, bud. And really, that's about all there is. We're going to the Roval this week. That was wild last year.
Are you excited about that?
I don't know. I've never been. I am not a road course specialist. I have raced 3 road course races in my entire life. So this will be the 4th, and I hope to be okay. I'm going to try to keep all 4 tires on the asphalt.
Yeah.
And if Brad Keselowski and Kyle Larson want to wad up about 12 cars into one like they did last year, I'll slowly put my way around it and grab a good finish. But I'm really going to be cautious.
Dumb question alert. Why are you're so good at karting? Why is it so hard to do?
Good question. It's just a different discipline. And I really think it's just like, it's not like learning how to ride a bike. You don't just figure it out, right? It takes a lot of time. And the guys who are really good at road course racing have been doing road courses their entire life. For whatever reason, I am really good at go-karts. And I think that eventually that can translate into a big car once I get more seat time. But I don't get a whole lot of simulator time at the Ford simulator because all their guys in the chase, right, are going to use up those time blocks. So I don't get that opportunity very often. And iRacing is good in a sense that you can get braking points and that stuff, but the tire models aren't similar on iRacing. You have a lot more grip on iRacing than you do in real life. So that takes a little bit to get used to. But I just have to do it more and get used to it because, I think that that's why back in the day, all these road course ringers used to come in and smoke the field, right? Because the drivers hadn't done it enough to get good at it. But now the Kyle Busches and the Kevin Harvicks and those guys who are successful, Martin Truex Jr.'s, that are successful on road courses, they've been doing it now for 15 years, twice a year. And they go to, the desert and do these Ron Fellows driving schools and all this stuff.
I wish they would let you guys go to the Roval since it's in town and everybody has cars here, and it would be super affordable for everybody to go for. You should do they should have an open day. I know they let people bring their own cars.
Well, they did a test last year since it was the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't get to do that.
No, that's what I mean. How come not? Because you guys have to pay, right? Everybody would have to bring out gear and tires and.
Corey didn't race the road course.
I didn't race the Roval last year. I was splitting that car with Cole Witt. Cole Witt's pretty good.
That's right. Cool. So you haven't done it, have you?
Cool Witt. He ran the road course. He's pretty good at him. And that's a Diet Coke opening from Lauren.
She's back on her Diet Coke and sandwiches.
Yep. But cool thing is we're doing the Samaritan's Feet car again. So I went around to some local businesses and rounded up some money to cover the cost to the team, unlike me having to give up a month of my salary, which is nice because I need some money. So some of the local companies that pitched in were Clean Juice. I guess I have to go through the list.
Nice.
Clean Juice, a company called Venture Companies.
Mm-hmm.
Bring us some Clean Juice here. We'll definitely
suck down some kale juice.
Yeah,
and orange slices. What else? The Keith Corporation. They helped out at Watkins Glen, but helping out here as well. Corbin Homes, HMS Motorsports. I should pull up the list that way I don't leave anybody out. But
this is like the Emmy speeches last night. You're like, I don't want to forget anybody.
Yeah,
but anybody I forgot, I'll text you later.
And I'll cover them all with some social media posts this week. But I don't want to forget the shoe stakes. That's already up to like $4 or $5 grand. I think I haven't looked at it the last couple of days. But
who's got the most bids?
I don't know. I can't see that portal. I could just see how many people went in and put their money in. Mm-hmm. So entered to win your favorite drivers' signed race shoes. I have a lot of guys: Dale Jr.'s, mine, Bubba's, Kyle Busch's, Joey Logano's, Ryan Blaney's, Chase Elliott's. A lot of guys. Yep. A lot of good guys that you wouldn't normally be able to get their signed racing shoes, except for the shoe stakes.
Lauren, you're going to be able to put these on your wall.
Oh, I can't wait.
And they don't smell too bad either. I had a couple people be like, man, they probably smell. But they don't really smell. You spray a little Febreze in them, and they're a nice mantelpiece.
How often do you wear racing shoes?
That's a good question.
Or how long do you wear them?
I've been wearing the shoes that I have now. They're like broken and perfect. I've been wearing these for like a year and a half now, and they're all busted. And
your Adidas?
Yeah. I just like this particular pair. But some guys change them out every week. I don't.
They wear one pair of shoes and then get rid of them?
Yeah.
And gloves.
Right? I've been wearing the same pair of gloves for a year and a half now, too. They're like broken and they just feel nice, right? Like your favorite pair of jeans, your favorite pair of race shoes.
Do you have to wash your own clothes, your fire suit?
No, so I just take it off and leave it in a sweaty heap. So like after the race, all the pit crew guys take their fire suits off and they literally just throw them up in the lounge of the hauler.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it's just a pile of sweaty race suits, and I just
Gross.
add mine to the pile. And then I just happen to show up next week, and it's nice and clean. It's like the fire suit washing gnomes come in, and like the Keebler elf comes in and washes them, and it smells nice and fresh.
Well, that's fun. I guess we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and finish up whatever the heck else we want to talk about.
There you go.
Sounds fair.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street, and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
And we're back.
By the way, I got a lot of nice messages saying you promoted the podcast quite a bit this weekend. So, so there you go. Thanks, man. I acknowledge your effort.
Yeah, it's actually Leanne and I were talking about this weekend. The last 2 weeks or so, it's almost been like a switch. It's weird how people are starting to recognize me around the track, and they also say, "Love the podcast."
Oh boy!
Like it was probably 25 people this weekend that were like, "Hey, that's Corey LaJoie. I love the podcast." Oh, that's cool. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
We're really making a star out of him.
Yeah, and when we say
Thank you,
12
guys.
listeners, we just mean Apple. I mean, I know you guys listen on Facebook, and
So-
we appreciate
YouTube,
that, and
yeah.
YouTube. But we're just making fun of the Apple listeners because
we don't
keep
make
getting
fun
a
of
lot of
anybody.
reviews, though. A lot of nice reviews. There's some interesting ones this week. There's one about Poppy.
Aw, I need to go back and read them.
We'll get to that in just a
Okay.
moment. But I'm happy that people are acknowledging you, Corey. That is the whole point. That
They're
is
not
why we
acknowledging
agreed
me. They're acknowledging us.
Us.
But they are
We're
starting.
a team.
But I don't know what has changed in the fan perspective. I think it really depends on what the broadcast says, because that's really all people listen to or watch, and that's the only where they get their information from.
Yeah.
So when the people on TV talk nice about me, people all of a sudden think that I'm a good race car driver and I'm doing good things, right? But they don't talk about me, I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
It's just funny how that works. And lately, NBC's given me some coverage, some nice coverage, so people all of a sudden think that I'm a nice guy and
It's
can
because
drive
Dale
race cars.
Jr. loves you.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. And
Likes
Parker
you.
does.
You don't like me anymore.
Parker and I are good buddies, and we always talk behind the scenes stuff. And
I did see Parker's promo for his show where he was pretending to be a used car salesman.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It was actually really good.
Yeah, they produced that thing
That
pretty
was
well.
really funny. So all these car shows, is that something you would entertain, like a Netflix car show?
I would entertain anything that makes sense and it's fun. You know.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would do anything that kind of helps spot my partners that help me out to keep me in the race car, and I would do anything that kind of helps my platform as a co-host of Sunday Money.
We're on your side, aren't we, Lauren?
Yeah, definitely.
Being which I'm going to be doing Backseat Drivers podcast.
That's not a podcast
Later
though,
today.
is it?
Never heard of it.
I don't think it's a podcast. I think
it's one of
like
these.
I think
new-
it's just a show.
It's a new one
A
that
digital
NASCAR is posting. For whatever reason, they just want to keep making more and more content that makes no sense.
He's going to go
It's
to
okay.
Backseat Drive. Like literally every single show that can't figure out what to do that's interesting. It's just like, let's just do whatever they're
Hey,
doing.
as long as he plugs us, he can go on all these shows.
Yeah.
But he won't.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, he will. He's
Yes,
learned
shut
now.
up, Darryl.
He's got it.
He's going to be like, well, it wasn't natural. It would have been weird to be like,
No.
Alex Weaver,
No.
don't forget about Sunday Mondays.
No,
Yeah.
no, dog.
Fine. Listen, I'm just saying, everybody just
We
kind of,
shit on him too much to where he's like scared of us now.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, no original ideas anymore. Everybody just does what we're doing. Makes me mad. It really,
Oh,
really
Daryl.
chaps my
Yeah,
ass.
not like we ripped off any show with two guy co-hosts and a female. That's never been done before.
We don't
either.
talk about aliens and or poop.
It's not like MRN
Or-
doesn't have
or
21
grills.
podcasts a week.
Right.
Now they talk about grills.
Yeah.
Well, fine. I'm just
I
saying.
do want one of those.
So you're going to go
grills,
do this?
though.
When are you doing this?
I'm literally driving from here down there. But hey, guys,
now that
it's for the betterment of Sunday money.
I love it.
Yeah, but I want you to do door bumper clear because that's one that that's the one I got in my sights right now. Everybody keeps going, well, door bumper clear, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get Corey on there.
Yeah,
Set him
no, I mean,
straight.
I talked to Brett. They got a couple guests lined up, but if they can slide me in, they'll slide me in.
You tell them to bump whoever the hell is coming in. You're Corey fucking LaJoie.
I'm a nobody.
Write down that time marker so we can bleep that.
No, I'm leaving that in. I'm making a T-shirt of that. Are you kidding me?
Hey, no, but before we do that, because the race was Saturday, I want to know what television you got to watch that wasn't racing related.
Racing Wives. That's what he watched
That's
yesterday.
the only thing I watched.
That's all you did yesterday? You didn't watch the Emmys?
Dude, I literally sat. I went from my bed. So I got home at like 3:30 in the morning. Slept till about 11.
Mm-hmm.
Got up. We went to brunch at Alton's.
Oh, that's a good place, actually.
I went back, sat on the couch, got up in bed, slept for about an hour, came back down, watched the Panthers win, and got back on the couch.
Couched it.
Went to, where'd we go? Duckworth. Kelly and I crushed 24 wings. Mm-hmm. Then we went back, went to bed.
Nice.
I just watched football, and it was a couch potato yesterday. I loved it.
Lauren, how was your Sunday?
I can't remember what I did. We left my baby on Saturday night because we went to a Clemson UNCC football game.
What was the score to that?
Very bad. I think it was like 50 to like 10 or 52
they played the 49ers,
or something like that.
Yeah, they whooped them up.
So we're, Andrew's he's a alumni of UNCC. We knew that they were going to get beat, but
was it fun?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you miss your baby?
No.
Did you?
I did, but not bad enough to want to come back and.
Did you see the Lauren baby tweet, Corey?
No, I saw the Instagram post.
Tell them your tweet about your baby sleeping. This is the greatest Lauren tweet.
Oh, well, it's just you realize I'll put my baby down. I put her down to take a nap, and I'm like, oh, I miss her. I want to hold her. And then as soon as she wakes up, I'm like, boy, I can't wait till she goes back to sleep.
Get back to sleep, baby.
There's all these things that you learn.
Well, the Emmys were yesterday. I watched the Emmys. Did you watch the Emmys?
I watched the Emmys.
Corey doesn't watch TV, so that
there
probably
wasn't that
wouldn't
many
have.
exciting moments.
No, there wasn't a lot going on. I was a little disappointed.
No.
But the other show I watched that I have to ask you guys about real quick. Yesterday was Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I can hear all the race fans right now tuning out. But there was a storyline, Corey, where the debate was, should you spank your kids? And it was very interesting to hear everybody. One of the girls, her name's Courtney, she was like, you can never spank your children. Well, the internet did not agree.
Yeah.
All of Twitter came down on her and was like,
I think her kids need to be spanked.
Kids need discipline. And then I was wondering, did Big Rand ever give you a swat?
Absolutely. Right to the back of the head. Yeah. He never, I don't really remember him physically spanking my butt, but he's backhanded me. Like if I ever disrespected my mom or said anything disrespectful there, or just did something stupid or stuff, if I did anything a kid would do that would be ordered to get spanked, he would like hit me very firm on the arm, on the back of the head, and I knew very soon that I probably shouldn't do that anymore.
Yep.
And everybody on that Kardashian show is probably a pretty good evidence of people that should have gotten spanked when they were kids.
Well, the other sisters are like, well, our kids behave, but there's two bad kids that are just not getting any discipline. So I was just wondering, like, now you're a new mom, and she's pretty small, but like
Andrew, he didn't get spanked when he was growing up.
So you had this conversation,
yeah? He wasn't. They didn't spank him. He probably should have got a spanking or two if I had to take a guess.
Did he get the timeouts? That's big, right?
I don't know. I don't know what they did. They were probably. I think they were reasoners. They talked.
Talk about your feelings.
Yeah, he's older than me. My parents, and it's I think very much a regional thing too.
Did you ever get a spanking?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot because my mom. I was scared of my mom. My mom and I talked about this on Friday. I went to lunch with her, and I was like, I was always scared of you.
Yeah.
So
you gotta have a little fear in the house, guys.
Let's read some reviews.
Over the head.
All right, Corey.
Enough Kardashian.
Oh my gosh, I just want to know your thought on Big Rand giving you a backhand.
Spanking.
Yeah, he was firm.
All right, which one are you gonna read?
Oh, you know which one I'm gonna read.
Okay, then I'll take this other one. I don't know how to say this. Something of time. My favorite of all NASCAR podcasts. Let me just say that again. Let it sink in. My favorite of all NASCAR podcasts. I appreciate Corey's bluntness that helps a casual NASCAR fan understand the sport. I don't feel like I'm being BS'd like I do with TV. On a side note, I hate babies. Even with Lauren having her baby around during record. Hold on, this is so great. Excuse me. On a side note, I hate babies. Even with Lauren having her baby around during recordings, the threesome are not annoying with the baby talk, and I appreciate that. That was like a backhanded compliment.
That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a good baby. Who's a good review? We'll go outside?
I'm gonna read one by 10 by band. Vulgar display of hair products. 5 stars. As much as I love this podcast, it pains me to give it 5 stars. Why do you ask? Daryl's hair. Very confused on what is being attempted with this vulgar display of hair product. I'll go ahead and give it 5 stars for Corey speaking the truth. I just know if this rating was about Daryl's hair, it would be a -5.
Sounds like a bald person if I've ever read a comment right there. That sounds like somebody balding early in their 30s.
Yes, it does. And if you were to see his hair today, you would probably give it a -8 because it is horrendous today.
Lauren, you want to read one? Or
I've just been browsing through them. I was trying to find the one that...
What?
There really
a
are
good one.
There really are so many good ones, guys. I appreciate all these positive
How about
reviews.
Yakety Yak? You'll like this, Corey. Daryl told me about this podcast at a farm show in Illinois. Look at that. And I've since become a fan. Corey creates a very down-to-earth, real outlook to the inner workings of NASCAR, which has made the sport more interesting for me. It fascinates me knowing the difference between a top 5 car and a 25th place car. 29th, sir.
Yeah.
I've always thought the guys in the back were just worse drivers. Not that the cars were that different. Along with Corey, Daryl and Lauren have some great commentary, pushing the conversations into funny spots. Keep up the awesome work. Another 5 stars. Corey, I made a fan for you. I'm literally Johnny Appleseed out there making Corey fans.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, I found one I want to read.
Oh, gosh.
It's titled Maddie D from RD216. What did Maddie D do to hurt y'all? Someone on the show a scornful ex? I just want to set the record straight because I feel like that's directed at me that I would never date Matt DiBenedetto, okay?
You're not into that?
I would never date somebody with that many muscles.
I don't think that was directed at you.
Scornful ex? Who else would date him? You?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm into blondes.
Maybe it was just like a figure. Maybe it was just a figure of speech.
Okay, I'm just saying.
We are all fans of Matty D on this podcast, guys. If you haven't been listening,
we could have him in. Should we have him in?
No.
See?
Yeah, we like him. We're just sick of talking about him.
All right. So the only thing we can really do now to drum up some more eyes and ears in this podcast.
You got to read
the which one?
Menace RX.
Hang on.
We should come up. Well,
hang on. While I'm trying to find it, I want to. So if you guys go when MRN tweets the link of this podcast and you click on it to go listen.
Yeah.
Retweet it because I still have about 10 Sunday Money hats to give away.
Let's do it.
So if you retweet the link to the podcast, we will pick 1 or 2 people on the show next week for that. And maybe I'm going to have to tie it in if your name happens to be on the shoe stakes list and you retweet.
You should do extra. You should do extra entries.
Extra credit.
Extra entry.
So, Exceptional Entertainment and Unfiltered by Menace RX.
That's a long one.
Yeah, I have a 3-hour drive round trip each day. Holy cow, man. You must love your job. And listen to a few of the Racing World podcasts on my drive. I pulled a few of yours down to sample the content. I was very impressed and happy with the content. Corey's unfiltered perspective on racing in today's NASCAR and opinions on other drivers, even if it will draw their disdain, makes me enjoy it even more. It's very rare to get a true unpolished by PR opinion that feels authentic. That's a long-winded one.
That's nice.
No, it's not.
Stop it there.
No. Welcome back and congrats to Lauren on the new addition to your squad. My daughter is 12, and I will tell you that it goes by quick.
So far, this is great.
Lastly, Daryl.
Uh-oh.
I can't tell you if you are a deliberate tool sometimes or if this is just who you are.
It's just who he is.
It's 50-50, really. You float between entertaining and obnoxious in less than a minute some weeks. You hit that nail on the head.
That's true. That's exactly how I would describe Daryl.
Especially your opinion that a championship is less of an achievement depending on the era of drivers back on track. Irregardless, you keep the content on its toes. Fair enough. This trio is entertaining and become my number 2 podcast to listen to right after the Dale Jr. podcast each week. Keep up the great work. You got my subscription. I pulled the entire season down to listen to for the weeks to come. Thanks, man. That was a good one. Long-winded.
That was nice.
We're gonna end.
That was a very thorough
with this one.
Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for the 5 stars.
Shoe Steak guys, retweet for the hat. Got a lot of good stuff this week.
I love you guys.